Hi there! In our last video here, we learned about the treble clef. We learned how to draw it, that big fancy G with all its loops and curls. And we learned about pitch, absolute pitch letter names, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. We're gonna do a quick review. I'm just gonna use my hand staff today. Remember 5 lines, just like the 5 lines we see here. Spaces, those, we had a word to help us remember, F-A-C-E, face, right? So if I pointed to that space, can you tell me the pitch? Mr. Roberts will tell them.
C, it would be C.
Yeah, okay. How about another space?
Well, that's on the bottom. That would be F.
All right, and then we also learned about lines. Well, I didn't say that right. Or, more helpful, elephants grow big, dirty feet. So we have E, G, B, D, and F. So if I was going to point to a line.
Second one from the bottom, elephants grow. So it's G.
I'll do one more. How about that one?
Way up at the top. Elephants grow big, dirty feet. F. Key of F. Okay, so hopefully you're kind of remembering those a little bit. You can quiz yourself very easily with a staff paper by just drawing a note head anywhere and then trying to figure out which pitch you've drawn. Today we're going to learn about a little modification to each of those notes. So as Georgia mentioned, we have A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Those are the names of our pitches. But we also have things called accidentals, which are things that we can write in that will tell us to modify those pitches in some way. And today we're going to learn about one of those, and it looks like this. You've probably seen a sign like that before. Some people use it to indicate a number sign. For us, it's going to be called a sharp sign. And what a sharp is in music is an indication that's written before a note head to tell us that it should be a half step higher. And by a half step, I mean the smallest interval that we can play on Western music instruments. So on a piano, it would be the distance between one white key and the next black key over in most cases. If you were playing on a guitar, it's 1 fret up, or a ukulele, something like that. And so if we were to see that pitch there, that's the first one that Georgia showed us. That was C. And I saw that sign right before it. That note is then called not C, but C sharp. And it will come before the pitch so that you know to be ready to sing or play that note a half step higher than it would be without the sharp sign. So we'll see those signs sometimes where the center portion, you've got 2 lines going up and down, or they're often curved just a little bit to the right, and 2 lines going sideways. The center portion there is sort of enclosing the note that you're making higher. So here you can see that center of the note is right on that space, so I know that's a C sharp. Here you can see that the center of that sharp sign is right around the top line of my staff. So you could probably guess which note is going to be made sharp here. It's F. So there you go. That's kind of all you need to know about sharps. Now, sometimes, pretty frequently, you'll see a piece of music where you'll have sharps written in not right before a note head, but maybe somewhere like there, and then you'll see a whole bunch of note heads written ahead. What that's telling you, this is called a key signature. And that's telling you that these 2 pitches, in this case that's an F, the top line of the staff, and a C, the 3rd space from the bottom, those are always sharps. Anytime you see that note, it's going to be a sharp. And so that key signature is telling us, I'm not going to take all the time to write in sharps every time I see an F. You just have to know that when there's an F, it's sharp. So if I saw those 4 pitches with this key signature, I would know that's an F sharp, E, D, and C sharp. Now, the reason that they're called key signatures is because each key has its own unique signature, and it's always assigned to that same set of sharps. So one key in particular looks like this. There are no sharps written in, there are no accidentals at all. That key is the key of C. With every other key, you're going to see some accidentals written in here at the beginning. So you might see this, or you might see this, or this. And each of those represents a key, and it will always be the same whenever you're in that key. Following?
Exactly. So a key signature, it tells us what notes are always sharp, but it also helps us find do. And from there, we can find all the other solfa pitches. So if I were, let's say my song just had one sharp, that's always going to be the first sharp, an F sharp. See that? Elephants grow big, dirty feet. So that top line, F. So F sharp, if there's just one sharp at the beginning of my song and I want to find what is the name of do so I can start singing my song, I'm going to draw do and give you just a little ditty, I don't know, rhyme to help you remember. The last sharp you see, its name is T. So if that is T, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, sits right there. See how T would be the F and do, we know those are just a second apart, so do sits right there. So I'm going to try just a couple more of these for you. If you saw this, the last sharp you see, that's why we say the last sharp, so you know which one to look at. This is the last sharp you see. Maybe you can copy this down on your paper. Its name is T. So from there, let's draw do. Is that where you put it? And then, once I know where do is, I can say the name of the key. This key is D, D major, because that line, if I counted up, elephants grow big, dirty, there is a D. So that is D major. The name of the key is always do. Can you try and think what the name of that one might be? That one's a little trickier. It's not on one of those face or elephants grow big, dirty feet, but we know if we're just counting up, you just count up like the alphabet. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G. G major. So do is always the name of the key, and that's how you find it. The last sharp you see, its name is T. So you can maybe say that to yourself a couple times to help you remember it. And from there, we can start drawing some examples. So I'm going to leave this one in the key of G with that G being do as the beginning. Then I'm going to draw a little example from there. I'll make that high do so we don't have to use so many ledger lines. And I'm going to draw a short example after it. Can you copy it down on your paper? Do you have those dots copied down? Now, what I would love for you to do is first write down the solfa name for each of these pitches. I already told you the first one is high do. So you can write that one on.
And I will help you out. Go ahead and pause the video if you need more time.
Great. Now there's actually a new and second thing we can do, which is write in the absolute pitch, A, B, C, D, E, F, or G, of each of those notes. So that first one is a G, and can you figure out what the rest of those are? Remember, we use lowercase for solfa and capital for the pitch names.
Is that what you got?
Looks good. All right, I'm going to draw another key signature.
Whew.
Look at that. 4 sharps. Okay, now do you remember our little rhyme? Last sharp you see, its name is T. Can you draw dough? These are my steps. I always find T, point to that last sharp, then I always draw dough. Well, not always. I don't anymore. But what I tell the little kids to do is always tell them to write dough. That helps you remember this is dough. Sometimes they get a little confused and think that last T is actually dough, but we want to remember that's T. This is dough, the name of the key. So this is the key of E major. Now I'm going to draw one other example from here. By the way, this is my very favorite color. It's a very nice shade of blue, isn't it?
All right, so you can take as much time as you need to. Go ahead and pause the video, but before you do, I'm going to have you do both of these steps at the same time for this example that Georgia drew. First, you'll write in the solfa syllables, starting with do, which Georgia gave us. And secondly, you'll write in the absolute pitch names in uppercase or capital letters, starting with E, which is the note that Georgia told us to start on. And I want to remind you, if you see those sharps in the key signature, those names of the pitches are also different. So if you had a C, but there was a sharp written there, that note is not named C, its name is C sharp. So let's see how we do. There's my set of solfa pitches.
Maybe I should have written my notes further apart. You need a bunch of room for this one. Hopefully yours are just a little further spaced.
And I'm not entirely confident you'll be able to read that at all, what I wrote, but I'll read them off for you. My solfa pitches were do, mi, re, low T, and do. And then the pitches were E, G sharp, F sharp, D sharp, and E. So if you had E, G, F, D, E, you were partially right. You did remember elephants grow big dirty feet or face, but you've just forgotten that in our key signature, Georgia told us all our Fs, all our Gs, all our Ds are sharp. So there you go. And now let's do the fun part. Let's see if we can make some music here with these pitches. And I think just for fun, I'm going to step out of the frame here for a second.
Something we had in our video last week.
And grab my trusty pitch pipe, because it would be totally fine to just sing this in whatever key occurred to you. But since we know what key we're in, then I'm able to give you, here's do. That was a G. So I played for you the G. And now we can call that high do. And work our way down. We're not going to sing in the actual key that it's written, which would be way up there. You can if you want to, but we'll just sing this example together with the solfa syllables, not the pitch names. You ready? Do, la, so, mi. Very good. Okay, and now let's move over here, and because we've got the key of E, I'm going to give you E. If you'd like to sing it up here, you can. Because we're in treble clef, in this range here, this is kind of like a soprano range or a child's voice range. My voice would actually be notated an octave lower and probably in bass clef, but that's okay. We're all singing the same pitches together. So we'll start on do in whichever octave you choose. Ready, sing. Do, mi, re, ti, do. All right, very good. Now I'm going to erase these, just those pitches, just to make a little bit of room for myself here. And we're going to go down to the second line of our second staff of our board here. And we're going to do a couple more written assignments, just like we always do, except for this time I won't give you note heads. I will give you Solfa syllables. You're going to give me the note heads and the absolute pitch names. But first,
Looks like we need a key signature.
I'm going to write in a key signature there. So just like Georgia's been talking about, we need to look at the last sharp, and then we know the last sharp that you see, its name is T. This is a C sharp. My T is a C sharp. That would mean do is here. Elephants grow big. Dirty. D. Okay, so our example looks like this. If you can't see that, it's high do, so, la, high do, ti, so. So you need to find that do, which is here, and you need to figure out where to put the note heads and what are the names of those pitches. Take as much time as you need, pause the video, and then Georgia will help you out.
Here I go.
With her favorite color, no less.
And now I will write down the absolute pitch names also. Look at that. Do is D. Sometimes they line up like that and it's fun. Do and fa are actually only two that can also be like D and F.
All right, look at that. Now we've got a key signature, we've got note heads, we've got solfa syllables, and we've got pitch names. What more information could you possibly need? Let's do one. Yeah, rhythms. Rhythms could help, but you know, we're making lots of progress here. So let's do one more and then we're done. So there is our key signature. And I'm going to point out one thing to you. If the last sharp that you see, whose name is T, is a half step below do, but it's way up there on the staff, you might need to employ the use of something that we talked about a few weeks ago to tell you which pitch that is, because this is sitting on top of the top line, so the next pitch up on the staff would use a ledger line. Having said that, I'm not going to tell you which pitch that is. I'm just going to write in a melody. So you'll have to figure that out on your own. We'll help you in a minute if you feel daunted by that task. And then we'll see what we can do. Okay. My marker is getting tired. I don't know if you also are getting tired. But I'm just going to give you one quick little hint. And that hint is that pitch that I wrote in is not do.
That first one there, not do. So don't just go do, re, mi. All right, go ahead, take your time, pause the video as always if you need to. Let's see what this looks like. There's the solfa. Now remember to write those sharps in if it is a sharp. So I see F sharp.
Whew. F sharp, G sharp, A, F sharp, E, C sharp, all kinds of sharps. So there you go. And now if you have not yet gathered, what is the name? You can just say it right out loud. We can't hear you, but yell it out. What's the name of this key? Well, what's the name of the do? A. So 3 sharps is the key of A. So there you go. That's a whole lot of information. Before we go, of course, we ought to sing these, I think. Let's just go ahead and do these. Key of D, Do is D. There's your D. There's your Do. Just in case you want to sing high, let's just do this one in that key that it's written in, shall we? Do, so, la, do, ti, so. Here we go. Do, so, la, do, ti, so. Very good. And now, this is one step harder because I'm going to give you Do, which sounds like this. I'm going to sing it an octave lower this time because that's really super high. We don't start on Do, do we? Can you imagine the note that we start on? Sing it out loud at home if you can. All right, now we'll go. Ready? La, ti, do, la, so, mi. Very good. So thanks for singing with us. I hope you enjoyed learning about sharps and key signatures. And now you can pick up any piece of music. And if it has a key signature with sharps, spoiler alert, there are other types of key signatures we'll learn about soon. But you'll know what key you're in, and then you'll be able to just go right through and sing everything written in Solfa. So please go ahead and try it out on your own.